adolescent mental health crisis, an issue ignored by so many, brushed under the carpet or put aside to address tomorrow. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Except tomorrow never comes. The issue isn't addressed, and these teenagers are still suffering, trapped inside their own minds, unable to escape. 42% of children worry for their own sanity, whilst 18% of 7 to 16-year-olds and 22% of 17 to 24-year-olds do indeed suffer from a mental health disorder. Why? We must ask ourselves why this is the case. Why is it that at such a young age, adolescents are unable to simply feel happy inside their own minds? Pressure. The endless social pressures teenagers are exposed to in this day and age. The social pressure from peers, the struggle to find an identity, harsh parenting, domestic violence, social media, school stress, not to mention the impact of the severe socio-economic issues. The COVID-19 pandemic, for example, led to a dramatic increase in the amount of teenagers struggling with their mental health. We also know that children from ACEs backgrounds are more likely to struggle with their mental health. So what can we do about it, I hear you ask? Good question. There are, of course, a myriad of methods, things teenagers can try to do to make themselves feel happier. But what do I suggest, I hear you say? Performance. Music, singing, acting, dancing, just some sort of performance. The performing arts has an ability like no other to invoke a certain sense of passion, freedom, happiness in a teenager. This is scientifically proven, with information such as research by the Scottish Government telling us that those involved in dance are 62% more likely to report good mental health. This is a staggering figure. It is also scientifically proven to improve self-esteem and confidence, while providing teenagers with a safe space to share their emotions and build essential friendships. It's not just the amateurs who this impacts, it's also the professionals. An article from the BBC titled 7 Stars Reveal How Songwriting and Music Help Their Mental Health tells us about how famous singers such as Ed Sheeran, Adele, Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, Zayn, they use performance and music as a sort of therapy. Ed Sheeran said that, "I think any time I've ever got down or ever felt low, the one thing that picks me up from that is writing a song about it." Miley Cyrus said that it's like having therapy. It'll be a 4-hour conversation just to write a song because you just have to go through every single detail. And Zayn said that he finds the songwriting process a most positive experience. He thinks that it can be positive to relive stressful moments from his past. I've also spoken to 2 avid performers of the ages 16 who talk about how performing arts has improved their mental health. And I've spoken to a performing arts teacher about how she's seen it impact many, many children in schools.
Today I'm joined by Jonathan Malloy and Eliza Peach, and we'll be talking about how performing arts affects your mental health. So I've got a few questions prepared. First of all, do you think that performing arts has increased your ability to cope with the everyday stresses of life? And if so, how?
Yeah, it definitely has. It's increased my confidence a lot. It kind of gives me the ability to express myself more openly, and just learning body language in performing arts is a massive thing for expressing how I feel and just through day-to-day life.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What about you, Eliza?
Well, I think it's affected me massively because before I did performing arts, I had could literally sit in the corner of a room and I wouldn't say anything. Now I'm in the middle of the room yelling my head off. So it's kind of made me a more confident person, and it's made me more comfortable with who I am as a person as well, like with exploring the different characters that I've got to play and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, that's definitely a big thing. Like famous people keep saying about their confidence, how it massively turn them from being really shy to really confident, like you say. Do you think that it also participating in things like shows? Do you think they allow you to form stronger connections with people and make better friends?
Yeah, definitely. There are some people I'm friends with now that I would not have been friends with. I wouldn't have a million years thought, oh, we'd be friends if we hadn't done that show.
Yeah, and a key example of that is we hadn't talked since primary until the actual show, and then we had such a chemistry on stage that I honestly wasn't expecting to talk to you again since primary school. And that friendship has stayed, and I think we are now very good friends because of it.
Yeah, it's shared experience. Yeah. Do you think that you'd recommend for people to do things like shows and singing and dancing to cheer themselves up on a day-to-day basis? Like if you were just woke up and you were feeling a bit down, would you recommend that someone like goes has a sing song to make themselves feel better?
Yeah, there's nothing better than singing in the shower. Nothing better. Because it just makes you feel so much better, because it's just like you can let everything out without having to say anything, without having to think of anything yourself, because you can just look at lyrics, oh, that's how I'm feeling today, just sing that.
Yeah, you don't have to express yourself, isn't it?
It's just, exactly that.
So why did you start like getting involved in shows in the first place, and like what age sort of did you start getting into it, and who sort of pushed you into that?
I was self-motivated for a lot of it, and when I started saying like to my mum and things that I really want to go and do this, I got a lot of support from them, and I went on to do school plays from, I think primary school was the first one we did together, and we did like, I think that was one of the first ones I ever did was primary school.
How did that make you feel as like a younger child?
It was a lot of fun. It allowed me to get a bit of creativity expressed. It's a way to allow yourself to be imaginative, but also having other people there to show your ideas to and then express them with other people.
Yeah, get the reactions, get the positivity, like support. That makes sense. What about you, Eliza? When did you start like getting into performing?
I think I was about 7. I went to see Cats with my grandma and my mum.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, I want to do this. This is what I want to do with my life. I'm not having it any other way. This is me. So yeah, it kind of just sort of took over after that. And then I went to see Shrek, and then that sort of sealed everything. Yeah. And then I sort of joined Torch Theatre, and I joined a load of performing arts groups. I'm still in Gens with you.
Yeah, we do stuff outside school.
Yeah, and I've just finished doing Chicago, and I've done Les Mis, and it's, oh my gosh, just so much fun, and I just love it so much.
Yeah. When you were doing Chicago, because you've recently done that, has that like, have you noticed a change in your general everyday mood since starting to do Chicago from like when you weren't doing it?
Well, when I wasn't doing it, the thing is, I was a confident person before it, but I think my confidence has gone up slightly, because Roxy's a very confident character, and she's very good at like eye contact and stuff. And before Chicago, I couldn't make eye contact with anyone. Like I was just constantly like, oh, that's very interesting, yeah. But like now I can actually talk to people and look at me, because before I couldn't do that. So that has affected me massively, actually.
Yeah. It's like method acting, isn't it? When you like become a bit like your character, you take that into your life. Like, I've noticed that for sure. Other than that, what's your favourite sort of performance method? Is it like acting or singing or dancing, and like why? How does that correlate to how it makes you feel?
You go first, I'm thinking.
Okay, I've got to say acting. It's always been easier for me to kind of switch brains into a different person.
Yeah.
But like I've always loved doing the other things. It's not something that I've thought, oh, I don't want to do this. I'm just going to stick to reading off the script. But like singing and stuff, I can sing. It's not my favourite thing in the world, but I do prefer acting. But what was the question again?
But like, why do you like tapping into like someone else as a character? Like, why does it make? Is it sort of your escapist method from like stress and everything?
So it gives you a new perspective on what's happening in your life sometimes.
Yeah.
Like another thing with her taking the confidence from being Roxy, I feel no matter what you do, you are method acting to a certain extent. You are going to retain something from that character. If it's the confidence from
the
Roxy,
accent.
the accent, you learn out something from these characters, and it's almost as if it's your life experience, but it's not.
Yeah, it's like you've tapped into someone else and you've sort of become someone else for a while.
Yeah.
You can bring that back into your life. Makes sense. Yeah. What you realize? Have you thought of the answer yet?
Nope, but we will improvise. Yeah, I don't really know, because acting for me, it sort of comes under all three.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you're doing, you're acting. So that's kind of probably the biggest one. But I love love singing and dancing so much as well, because it's just, you just feel, oh my god, it's just so nice. And then,
Yeah, you just feel like...
yeah, it's just really lovely. Like, it's just, I don't know how to put it into words. It's like, it's more of a feeling than a sort of,
passion.
that,
The freedom.
yeah.
Would either of you be able to tell me a bit about how, like, your mental health throughout your life so far, and like how you may have struggled and how like it may have been helped by sort of performing?
I went first last time, you got this.
I don't think my mental health has been that bad,
Yeah.
or at all. I think I've had some body image issues over the past, but everyone, like, when, like, 13, 12, that sort of age. Yeah. But I think acting actually helped me figure it out, because if you go to the West End, you see so many different people play the same role, and you see so many different, like, faces of that same role. For, like, I went to see Cosette one time, and she was the skinniest little thing I ever saw. And then I went to see Cosette another time in Les Mis, and she was like, she looked like she wasn't like, she was really, really tall, and I was like, right, so that, but she was the same person.
Yeah.
So it's like, so it just shows how no matter what you look like, you've always got a place in the world of performing arts, and I think that's just great.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really
My mental health hasn't been great. It's been a bit of a
good.
challenge for me, and performing arts definitely helped with that. Because when I was younger, I had undiagnosed ADHD, and I had to go through that on my own.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of friends. I was very secluded because of having ADHD, and like I was diagnosed year 6, and like I got given medication, things got better, but I still didn't feel like I was part of any social groups.
Yeah.
I still felt like it's just me on my own.
Yeah.
So when I came to secondary school, that feelings got a bit worse because of how big it became.
Yeah.
It was like I became so much smaller from that moment. And I eventually managed to get myself out of that hole, and I found the production later on in years, and I made so many good friends from that, and I got myself into a position, into a social circle with friends who actually like me and like my personality.
Similar mindset.
Yeah, it honestly, it saved me a bit.
You gave you a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like a major thing, isn't it? It's like, it gives you the space where you're free to like express how you feel and be accepted for it.
Yeah.
And that's a really important thing, I think, for young people to have. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this has been an experience. Yeah.
So, as a performing arts teacher, how do you see in your job that performing arts impacts the children you work with?
So I've taught performing arts for 30 odd years, and I believe that it's a significant support for children with mental health issues. I know when you were little, and I'm your mum obviously as well as a performing arts teacher, when you were little, I watched you every day at school and all your contemporaries playing role play, make-believe, you were playing Harry Potter, and the sense of freedom and creativity that it develops with children is really amazing. And I think when people become a little bit older, when they become teenage, the social interaction and all the complex social hierarchy of school is really quite challenging.
Yeah.
And I think that performing arts still allows you that kind of play and that fun and that creativity, which actually supports your mental health really, really well. So I think that it is definitely an advantage for children to play, which I think performing arts allows.
Yeah. Have you seen? I agree with you, Tyler. I think, but have you seen a difference in like attendance when shows are on and when they're not?
Yeah, absolutely. When we did a whole school production last year, quite a lot of the central characters were pupils that had either had mental health issues, or they had been school phobic, or they'd had anxiety. And I think the sense of excitement and the sense of enthusiasm for doing the show meant they actually turned up. And we actually spotted in 2 or 3 or 4 of the key characters, their attendance went through the roof because they weren't going to miss school. They had something to come in for that made them feel happy.
Yeah.
There's one pupil in there who had always been really self-conscious about her appearance and was really anxious about coming in. And she said to me one day in the wing, she said, "Oh, miss, I've always been really shy and really nervous, but my character's really flirty, so I've decided I'm just going to channel that now, and I'm just going to become that person because I feel so much happier playing that person." And actually her whole persona has transformed, and her mental health and her confidence this year as a result of doing that show is just really, really good.
Yeah.
So that's really impressed everybody. We definitely feel that performance gives you that sense of fun and creativity and excitement that is missing in everything else.
Do you think teenagers often worry about their own mental health, and like, even if they're not necessarily depressed, I think they worry that they could be? Do you think it might like give them a distraction from that and make them believe that, oh, they can be happy, they don't have to be sad all the time just because they are without it?
Yeah, I think generally, I know for me, if I am feeling fed up or feeling stressed or feeling anxious, sometimes just putting on a specific piece of music and singing along to it or getting involved can really distract me. And I definitely feel that with the children. I teach lots of children that turn up in my classes on a daily basis. My teenagers, they turn up, they might be in a really foul mood, they might have been upset because they've fallen out with a friend, and I think sometimes just getting out of their head a little bit, getting into performance, into another character supports with that. I think social cohesion is much greater as well with children when we do performing arts. We've got a rule within the classroom that we're always going to show respect and care for everybody, and that it can be really intimidating sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone. So it's kind of a safe space to express yourself and to explore different feelings. We also look at plays quite a lot that deal with mental health. And I did one last week which was about a child that had been pressured from a family situation, and loads of the girls said to me at the end of the day, "Miss, how is that so relatable?" So I think performing arts allows you to explore really, really contentious social issues and gives you solutions through acting and performing it. It's kind of like you can model and role play behaviours and look at issues through performance, which are really helpful.
It's brilliant, yeah. Thank you for that.